Alrighty, and welcome back to the Mother-Daughter Disney podcast. My name is Amanda. I'm here with my lovely mother.
Hi, I'm Janette.
And today we're actually filming on Mother's Day. So I just want to say happy Mother's Day to my lovely mother.
Oh, thank you.
This is being published a few weeks after Mother's Day. But today we are going to be talking about the most expensive food and drink in Epcot. Food, drink, and snacks in Epcot. I don't know what I'm calling this yet.
Okay.
But basically the other day, there are on the Disney World website, there are 66 dining options in Epcot alone. And that does not include all the festival booths, of course.
Oh, wow.
So
I would think that would include the festival.
No,
wow.
so because the festival booths change for festivals, so
Yeah.
they're not always on the Disney website. So I went through all 66 menus and I picked out what is the most expensive food, treats, and drink that you can get in Epcot.
Okay.
Now I've categorized them into different categories, so we're going to go through all the categories.
Okay.
So all right, so let's start first. So first, if you're looking for the most expensive non-alcoholic drink, the one that I could basically find, I actually added this category last minute to it. So there could be another one too. And I want to note too, of course, again, festival booths may have more expensive things than some of these, but they're not always going to be counted. So, all right, so currently the most expensive non-alcoholic drink at the Outdoor Kitchen, the Citrus Blossom. So that is when it's like that place on the lake, so to speak, before you get to the actual World Showcase Lagoon, like right before you get to Mexico.
Oh, I know where that is. Okay. Yes.
So this is the orange lemon smoothie, and it's served in a souvenir orange bird sipper.
Oh, that's
so that is why it's more
Okay.
expensive, because it comes in a sipper. It's actually not that expensive though. It's only $15.49. So I was like, that's actually a pretty good price.
Considering they're giving you a sipper that you keep, and it's a smoothie drink.
That's what I'm saying. You're getting a smoothie in
it
a
could be a lot
souvenir
more
cup.
expensive.
So it's really not too bad, all things considered. So we're starting off pretty strong.
But it's non-alcoholic.
Non-alcoholic, yes.
Do they add alcohol? They don't add alcohol to that.
I don't know if
I
there's
know
an
some of the
option for
stands
that.
do have it where you have an alcoholic choice.
Yeah, some of them have options.
Yeah.
But all right, so we'll get to those ones though. So all right, up next is in our snack category. I have two snacks here. All right, so for our first snack, we are heading all the way over to the Canadian Pavilion at the Canada Popcorn Cart. The first up is the maple popcorn in a souvenir bucket, and this is what it basically said. So for the maple popcorn in a souvenir bucket, it is $15.29. Now I'm pretty sure some of the other popcorn buckets are also around the same price, and if you get one of the more fancier buckets, they can be even more.
I was
going to
say those buckets that everybody collects, aren't they? They have to be at least $15.
Yes, but again, all of those carts aren't necessarily on the Disney website to see the prices for them. So that's why this is according to the Disney website. So again, there may be other things that are more expensive than this, but according to the official Disney website, these are the items that we found. So sorry. So I guess just to say, some of the popcorn, but I'm pretty sure like the Figment popcorn bucket is like almost $30 or something like that.
I was going to say,
like
those popcorn buckets are not cheap.
For in the Canada, the staple popcorn bucket with the maple popcorn is $15.29. And then also we have over at the funnel cake, which the funnel cake is by the American Pavilion.
Yes.
We have specifically the cookies and cream funnel cake, and this comes with sugar, vanilla ice cream, crushed cookies, and chocolate sauce. And this is also for $15.
Surprised, because that seems like a lot more stuff for $15 than the popcorn.
It does. It's funny because I'm not a big funnel cake person. I've never been a big funnel cake person. I remember the first time I had funnel cake, I think it was in Six Flags, and I was just like, I guess it's good, but it didn't really do anything for me necessarily. But I think, again, for what you're getting, from when you look at the size of what the funnel cake is.
when you look at the size of what they serve you with that funnel cake and all the stuff you're saying that it's on it, you say to yourself, okay, that seems a lot more food and a lot more filling than a bucket of maple popcorn.
All right, so in our next category, of course, this is for our 21 plus listeners for the cocktails. So I have a bunch of cocktails here listed. So let's go through some of the most expensive cocktails. So all right, up first is at the Akershus Royal Banquet Hall over in Norway. We have the Northern Lights cocktail. This is Helix 7 vodka, Bull's Blue, Curacao liqueur. Curacao liqueur. You can tell I do not drink. Blueberry, desert pear, and Sprite with a souvenir glow cube, which I do think is kind of fun. You get the little glow cube.
Okay, it's not a souvenir glass, it's a souvenir glow cube.
Just a glow cube.
Oh, wow, okay. For that kind of money, they should be giving you the glass and the cube.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is for $21.50.
Although I shouldn't say that, because, where I live, you get a short little drink, they throw a sprig of rosemary in it and charge you $15.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, this one is $21.50 with the souvenir glow cube.
Okay.
All right, up next over at Summerfest, which is in the German Pavilion.
Okay.
So we have 3 drinks here that are all cost around $21, $21 to $22. So first up, we have I'm so sorry, I do not speak German, the Wursteiner Dunkel, I think is how you'd say that.
Oh, okay.
And this comes in the Germany Vintage Souvenir Stein, is how you say it?
Stein.
Stein. So yeah, you get the glass
you get a
with
souvenir
it.
Stein.
So this comes in the
Okay.
souvenir Stein.
Okay.
So these all come in the
That's
souvenir
why
Steins.
it's so expensive. Okay.
So yeah, but there's specific drafts that only come in the souvenir steins.
Stein.
So again, this is the Wursteiner Dunkel. So this is a 24-ounce draft, classic German style dark Pilsner that has a deep chestnut brown hue with a smooth, toasty malt flavor and mocha aromas. You can also get in this souvenir stein, the Bitburger Premium Pilsner. Also, again, they're all 24 ounce. This is a classic German lager beer with a crystal clear straw-colored hue and a fine balance between pronounced flavor and light-bodied elegance, with mild fruitiness and freshness supported by gentle sweet malt notes. This yields to a crisp hop tone and harmonious finish. Now, let me tell you, I have drinking many a beer, and I would not be able to describe any beer like this.
I don't drink beer, and it sounds so nice when you're saying it. And then the minute I take a sip, I'm like, No,
I'm not a big beer person.
Yeah, not a big beer person.
And the final one is the Skofhofer Pink Grapefruit Hefeweizen. I definitely said that wrong, so I apologize to any German people out there. And this is an easy and refreshing with light notes of citrus and spice with low bitterness. So again, so you can get those 3 in the souvenir stein.
Well, there you're paying for the stein.
Yeah. All right, up next, we are going over to Mexico. Over in Mexico, we have the Choza de Margarita, and you can get the seasonal margarita for $22. All right, up next, we're heading over to France. We're just going to jump around the pavilions basically right now. Over at France, the Les Vins des Chefs de France, you can get the Cœur Royal Champagne and Black Currant liqueur for $22.95.
Okay, that's what I had when I went to my friend's apartment, and we had the champagne, and she put that black currant liqueur in it. That's a big thing over there because she learned how to drink that in Luxembourg.
Well, yeah, but you can get it in Epcot. So
yeah,
next
it's
time
very
we're in
sweet.
Epcot, Mom,
it's
you're
very
gonna get
sweet, very strong.
Very strong. All right, up next we got back in Mexico at La Cava del Tequila. Of course, we had to go to the tequila spot
we've been
for at least
there.
one place. You can purchase the Molumita, which is a Controlaz Reposado Cristalino Mezcal, pineapple juice, Anco Reyes, chili poblano liqueur, ginger peach cordial, Italicus, tortilla ashram. I've definitely butchered that whole thing.
Well,
so
whatever you
I do
did,
not speak Spanish.
I drink my tequila straight.
Yeah,
so.
and this is for $25. So again, we're going up in price right now.
Right.
All right, up next at Tutto Italia Ristorante over in Italy, we have the Nonnino il Moscato, and this has elegant, aromatic, soft, and sensual flavors. This is for $27.
Wow.
All right, back over to Mexico at La Hacienda de San Angel. This is one of the restaurants. You can purchase the La Hacienda Smoked Old Fashioned. My friend Shannon.
Oh, Daddy just had one of those at the place at one of the restaurants.
Yeah, I like to say there's a spelling error in this one, and that's funny because I copied and pasted this directly from the Disney website. So they have a spelling error on their website.
On the Disney website.
Wow. All right, so this La Hacienda Smoked Old Fashioned is aged in-house, Rough Rider bourbon, illegal reposado, mezcal private barrel, Ancho Reyes, Barrica, chili liqueur, Nixta elote liqueur, again, probably saying that wrong, and chocolate mole bitters. And this offering is not included in the Disney dining plan. Can I just copy and paste this?
I would think so.
And this one is for $28.
Wow.
All right. Now we're heading over to the English Pavilion at the Rose and Crown Dining Room. You can get a Scotch whiskey, the Macallan 18-year Scotch whiskey. This is a 2-ounce pour, so pretty small, for $45.50. Yeah. Now, I don't really drink whiskeys or liqueurs like that.
Yeah.
So 18 years, $45. And also for $45, you can also get the Johnny Walker Blue as well. So another 2-ounce whiskey pour.
Yeah, that's aged liquor.
All right, and now we're going back over to Mexico. A lot in Mexico. Wow. Okay, back over in Mexico at the San Angel Inn Restaurante. This is at the San Angel Inn Premium Tequila Flight. Oh, that's right, because there's a flight. So
the flight. Yeah.
So you get 3 tequilas in the flight. So you get the Santana Blanco, El Cristiano Reposado, and the Mineta Añejo for $40 for this flight.
I wish they served that over in the other restaurant because I would get
that's
that.
not even too bad of a price for a flight.
No, I would get that because I like to taste different tequilas. And if you're going to spend for a tequila and pay for a full pour of tequila, I would rather get the flight. That's how when they used to have the Bloody Mary flight at the Polynesian Hotel at breakfast that time when I got the Bloody Mary flight. That's how I learned how to drink bourbon in my Bloody Mary every once in a while because it was so good. And I would love to get a flight of tequilas.
Well, the next up is another flight, but it's a flight of bourbon. So at Geo 82, which is the new lounge right in like the center of right behind Spaceship Earth, basically. This is an exclusive Disney Select bourbon flight. You can get the Uncle Nearest single barrel, the Woodford Reserve private barrel, and the Blanton's Gold single barrel. Oh, there's 4. And the Stag private barrel. So 4 private barrels. Again, I'm not a big bourbon drinker, so I don't know a lot of bourbons.
Other than in my Bloody Mary once in a while.
Again,
I'm not
so
a
for
bourbon
4
drinker.
bourbons for your flight, it's $55, which again, actually not too bad if you think about the price of liquor and you're getting a whole flight. All right, so then that is it for our cocktails. Again, those are some of the most expensive cocktails you can get in Epcot.
We never really order those cocktails
don't.
because I don't drink during the day, and especially when it's hot, can't drink, walk around, go up and down, all the rides, do everything, and have liquor during the day.
No, for sure.
So it's usually only at night, and when I order my tequila, I order it straight. I never usually...
And again, this doesn't even include some of the cocktails at the festival booths, which could be
which
around
are-
the same price or more. I would say when I was doing this, a lot of the average prices for cocktails seem to be around $15 to $18 seem to be like the average, with the more expensive ones being $20 or over. So if you're paying $20 or over, it's a little bit more pricey of a cocktail, but if you're paying $15, that's about average, I would say. Even where I live in the city, a $15 is like
Well, that's what I said. $15 to $18 is easily
Yeah.
a price for a drink.
All right, let's go some appetizers now. So all these appetizers are either
Oh,
in
you went by
restaurants or lounges.
different courses.
Different courses as to how I categorize some of these things. So these are in like the appetizer menu or like a lounge menu is what these kind of are.
I wonder if we've had any. Let me see.
So up first is at Les Celliers. So at Les Celliers for $24, you can get the Prince Edward Island mussels.
Oh, yeah.
So-
I think Daddy's
I was
had
going to say, I
that.
think my dad's may have had
Yes,
this.
I think Daddy has
So
had
this
that.
comes with vin blanc, butter, garlic, fine herbs, lemon, and sourdough croutons is what it says.
Okay.
All right, so over in the Space 220 Lounge for also $24, you can get the Cosmic Lobster Bio that says lobster, celery, tobacco, lime mayo on a crispy bayo bun. I do think that could be a little bit more expensive. I mean, like it's lobster. That's why it's expensive,
it's
basically,
lobster.
if you think about it. But I think it's only one bayo bun is the thing, which is why I'm saying like, oh, that's a lot for just one. I don't know
one.
if it's
Depends
perhaps
on how
it is
stuffed
too.
it is.
But
Right.
yeah, but again, you're paying for lobster at that point. All right, over at Geo 82, again, that lounge, the new lounge that's right behind Spaceship Earth, you can get a charcuterie board with chef's selection of artisanal cheeses, cured meats, and accompaniments for $29. Now, of course, this is supposed to feed more than one person. So if you think about it that way,
yeah, but still,
not too
that's
bad.
I've seen. I actually saw some advertisements for that place, and it looked like it was very expensive.
All right, and then last we have here at Tutto Italia Ristorante, you can get the tagliere, which again is supposed to serve more than 2 people. So this is prosciutto di Parma, salame, capricolo, pecorino, tartafatto, asiago, gorgonzola, fontino, artichoke, and ciringola, olive, and grissini. So again,
all
that's
that
for 2
stuff's
people, though,
expensive.
technically.
Yeah, per pound. That's all expensive.
It is. I know those little meats are expensive, that's for sure. All right. So up next we have some entrees. So let's go over to the entrees. All of these are at restaurants themselves. So first we have a lot of these are going to be pretty obvious if we're going to be quite honest right here. So first up is at Coral Reef Restaurant. We haven't eaten at Coral Reef.
We haven't eaten there in a long time. I know. I thought about that just the other day.
So their surf and turf includes the filet mignon, grilled shrimp, garlic mashed potatoes, and key lime chimichurri for $45.
Okay.
So I'd say I feel like that's not too bad of a price, but it is only shrimp and not like lobster or something.
not lobster
so
tail.
that's why it's a little bit less. Over at Tutto Italia Ristorante, you can get the Mare and Monti surf and turf. And for this, you have the slow braised chuck short rib, the Maine lobster ravioli, and rosemary butter for $52.
Wow. Okay.
So does that sound good? I don't really know what's.
That sounds expensive to me, but okay. I would not pay $52 for pasta and short ribs.
Well, it's lobster ravioli, though.
Yes, it doesn't matter. You know how much lobster is in that ravioli?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, over at Chef de France, you can get the steak frites, entrecôte grill,
Which is
pommes
what I
frites,
have every time I go there.
and sauce béarnaise. This is grilled shrimp loin French fries on a béarnaise sauce for $55.95. Over at the San Angel in Ristorante, you can get the carne asada, which is a New York strip with chipotle butter served with cheese, enchiladas, esquitas, roasted vegetables, and corn ribs. You can also add shrimp for $12, and it's not included in the Disney dining plan. And this is for $54.
Oh, that's expensive. We've had that years ago, and it was not $54, that's for sure.
All right, over at Via Napoli, this is a kind of cheating because this is the quattro formaggi pizza, but it's a half meter of pizza. So
it's the big one.
Yeah. So this is the white pizza with mozzarella, parmesan, fontina, provolone for $57.
That's to feed like a whole bunch of people.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of cheating because it's expensive.
That's cheating.
But of course,
if you're
a lot of people
ordering the
are
carne
eating this,
asada,
so.
you're ordering it for yourself.
Yeah.
The pizza you're ordering for a whole bunch of people.
And I have these for some of the things they have. So for instance, up next they have a ribeye for 2 people for $170 at Les Celliers, and this is a 7-ounce filet mignon. But they also have, that's only for one person, is the butcher's cut accompanied by one on like one side and one sauce for $65 as well.
I think I've had that.
Yeah, that one. That makes sense, because steak and seafood always
Steak and seafood are always expensive, and sometimes when I look at a menu, that's the only thing that I want to eat, so I end up having to splurge.
Yeah. So over at La Hacienda de San Angel, again, another one, they do have a ribeye for 2 for $112 and a fish dish for 2 for $80. But for one person, I say in theory, they have the Parlada La Hacienda, and this has the ancho agave marinated New York strip and roasted chicken breast served with vegetables, esquites, and corn tortillas. You can add shrimp for $12, and this one dish is $80.
I also think that you have to figure out where you're eating.
This is also, I realized too, you get strip and chicken.
You have to think about where you're eating, and who's cooking it, and what they're cooking in the kitchen, and what you can get in that restaurant. That steak is not worth getting for that price.
All right, so up next, we are our last few for entrees. We're going over to Tap and Ito. This is over in the Japan pavilion.
Japan.
This is our first seeing of Japan. We haven't been to Japan yet. So first up with the Asakusa Premium. This is the 5-ounce Japanese A5 Wagyu and 5-piece shrimp served with garden salad, udon noodles, vegetables, and some white rice for $88. Then also for $88, you can get the Nihon Bashi Premium. This is also a 5-ounce Japanese A5 Wagyu and 4-ounce chicken served with, again, the garden salad, udon noodles, and white rice. You can either get it your 5-ounce Wagyu with some shrimp or with some chicken, basically, both for $88. And last but not least, the most expensive entree that I could find. And I will say this is supposed to be for multiple people, so it's not just for one person.
Okay.
I don't know how big it is though. So like I would say at least 2 people, maybe 3, perhaps. But this is over at the Shikisai Sushi Izakaya. You can get the fune or boat, and it is a boat presentation showcasing a premium assortment of sushi and sashimi. So how much do you think a boat of sushi and sashimi
$125?
No.
Oh, more? Wow.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how big it is.
I don't eat sushi, but I know that sushi is very expensive.
Sushi can be very expensive. Yeah.
I'm not, I guess it depends on how big the boat is.
That's what I'm saying. It depends how big the boat is.
I don't eat sushi, so, I don't even look at the prices.
I don't eat sushi either.
Daddy eats sushi, but I don't eat sushi, and we never order a boat. That's for sure. Okay, what is it? How
this
much?
boat of sushi is $300.
Oh my God.
So that's why I'm curious to see how big it would be and then how many people could feed. Because if you're feeding 4 people at $300, it's not that bad actually.
People, not that bad for sushi, but I bet you 10 to 1 it's not 4 people. Maybe it's 3 people.
I would say 2 to 3 people probably, especially if you're a big sushi eater, because I've seen sushi eaters and they can down those rolls.
Like Daddy got 3 rolls the other night.
They can really down those rolls.
Yeah. I mean, in one sitting. They call it a roll, but I mean, it's, but he ate all 3 rolls in one sitting. It wasn't like it was a lot of food.
Yeah, neither me or my mom eat sushi. My husband also doesn't eat sushi. So I don't really eat a lot of sushi. I don't also see a lot of people eating sushi in my life because I don't eat sushi. But yeah, $300 you can get the boat.
What surprises me about that is they did not, I'm surprised the fancy French restaurant, the one that's upstairs from Monsieur Paul, I'm surprised they didn't hit the entree list.
So that is because, that's our next category actually, is the prefix meals. Monsieur Paul is a
I was going to say, how'd they not hit it? I mean,
Monsieur Paul is a prefixed dining.
Oh, I didn't realize that was actually prefixed. Yep. Okay.
So for our 2 prefixed dinings, our 2 most expensive in the park is Monsieur Paul at $195 per adult, not including tax and gratuity, of course. But the most expensive prefixed in the park is Takumite.
The new restaurant.
So this is for, if you want to do a full course, is $250 per adult, or you can do a semi-course for $150 per adult, again, not including tax and gratuity.
Right.
So I have seen some reviews of Takumite, because yes, it is one of the newer Japanese restaurants. It's very expensive. A lot of sushi, of course. But again, for me, I could never eat there because I don't eat meat or fish. So it would be a waste for someone like me that would not be able to eat
even
the entire
Monsieur Paul's menu, I would not eat half the stuff that was on it. So
yeah, it's a little tricky when you don't eat meat and fish, and that's the expensive stuff for the most part. Like, yes, there are a lot of ways you can make vegetarian dishes that can be very, like the skill to make a cauliflower steak. You need to be skilled to do that well.
Yes.
So paying for that is like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But for the most part, most vegetarian meals, it's they're not going to be costing $250 per person for a full vegetarian meal or something. So, all right, yeah. So that is our 2 prefix. Now, up next is our last category that has the most expensive items in the entire park. What do you think this last category may be?
Dessert?
No, not dessert. It's wine and champagne. So.
Just wine and champagne, not considered a cocktail. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Just wine and champagne, yeah.
Okay.
I separated them out because you can get wine by the bottle is the thing. And so some of these bottles really get up in price. So let's start off with our wine and champagne. All right, so first up over at Tap and Ito, Orlando, staying in the Japan Pavilion, you can get the Mum Napa Prestige Brut Napa Valley, California. For one glass is $22, but for the whole bottle, it is $85.
Oh, okay. For a Brut, I mean, a really expensive Brut, I could see that.
And I'll say too, I don't really know wine that well. I only know wine very amateur, so I do not know wine. But all right, so up next over at Nine Dragons. Haven't been over to China Pavilion yet.
Wow.
So at Nine Dragons, you can get the Cuvée Mum Napa M California, which is a sparkling wine. And this only comes by the bottle for $86.
Oh, okay.
Over at Coral Reef Restaurant, you can get the Robert Mondavi Cabernet Sauvignon from Napa Valley. The glass is $25 and the bottle is $98.
Wow. I mean, we've drunk Robert Mondavi
Is
wines. They're good. I'd rather have an Italian
bottle?
wine. Robert Mondavi's a good wine, but that must be a very different vintage than what we were drinking because that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Anytime you go to a restaurant, whatever you're looking at the price in the restaurant, it's half the price if you go over to Wine Outlet over here and buy it yourself.
Course, yes.
So when you think about that, that's a $45 to $50 bottle of wine. Yes, we have bought $45 to $50 bottles of wine. Barolos. We drink Barolo in this house like it's nothing.
Like it's water.
So yeah. So Joe says, Daddy says, I'm going to go get wine. Oh, don't forget my Barolo. And I don't even drink that often. But if we drink, it's Barolo. So I could see the bottles being, that's a little bit more in line when you say like $96 for a bottle, because if that's a $40 or $45 bottle of wine in a store, it's going to cost you $90 in a restaurant.
All right, I put one of them out of order by accident. So over at Beer Garden Restaurant, we have the J.H. Selbach Blue Label Riesling Moselle. This is for $79 for the bottle or $19 for the glass.
Wow, is that that's in Germany?
In Germany.
I would assume. Yeah, Riesling is usually Germany. Okay.
All right,
Riesling, I guess I should.
Over in Les Celliers, so again back in Canada, we have the Meeker Frozen Zinfandel Ice Wine from Sonoma County. The glass is $25 and the bottle is $98.
That's interesting. They serve it. I guess they must serve it really cold.
I guess so. Yeah.
Does it say, I can't tell. Is it white wine or red wine? Do they say? Just because I've never had an ice wine. I'm not sure I'd like an ice wine, but you never know. I'm not a white wine drinker. I'm a red wine drinker. I got to tell you, they do have a nice selection when you go to all the different countries and you look at all the like France and Italy and Germany. They do have all of those counters that sell the wines and sell all that stuff. I never really pay much attention to it because I'm not buying wine in Disney because I can't take it home.
Yeah, so it says it's a dessert wine. Is what
dessert
it is.
Wine, okay.
Yeah, dessert wine.
Yeah, like I said, I don't usually buy bottles anywhere, but you can't take it home. I use it. I go on the plane with a carry-on. Can't take a bottle of wine home on a carry-on.
Just realized there's a more expensive bottle on this list too that I didn't write down, so that's my bad. So let me just copy and paste this one. I think. What if I just copy and pasted the wrong one here? Yeah, because then also at Les Celliers, another dessert wine, they have the Inniskillin Vidal Ice Wine from the Niagara Peninsula. A glass is $32 and the bottle is $147.
Well, I would think people who are used to drinking like dessert wines, dessert drinks, would love that because, like I said, you don't get that every place.
Yeah, it's like special.
Now that, like you said, does not even include when they have the festival, the wine, food and wine festival.
Well, a lot of the food and wine festival, you wouldn't get the bottle though. You'd only get the glass.
Well, some of those, some of the festival booths, if they are selling anything where they're selling the bottles and stuff. But like I said, I never look at anything because I have a carry-on. They have to ship it. And according to what the temperature is, I've been to wineries where they will not ship it to you because it's too hot and they cannot ship wine if the temperature is too hot.
All right, so over at Tutto Italia Ristorante, you can get the Amarone San Sartori Corte Bra Corvina, and a glass is $39 and a bottle is $175.
Ooh, I'd like to taste that.
All right, over at Geo 82, they have two bottles here. So one of them's a little bit less, but you can get it by the glass. So the first one's the Lingua Franca Bunker Hill Chardonnay, and then or the Elia Amita Hills. So is Eola Amita Hills, Amity Hills, I think is where it's from, right? That Eola Amita Hills is where it's from. You can get from Oregon, and you can get the glass for $29 or the bottles for $115. But also at GU 82, only by the bottle do they have the Raphael et Vincent Brochet Côte Melissiem. It's very French. It has all the little accents above the letters in French. And this is a champagne, of course, from actually Champagne, France. So the bottle is $290 here.
Wow. Okay.
All right. So going over our last few here. So first we have, this is all at Takumi Te. So again, that very expensive prefixed course that we had just mentioned for the $250 per per course. So first up, we have, this is all sake as well. So we have a bunch of sake.
Okay.
Sake. So again, this is all sake. So again, I don't drink sake, but I know sake, you typically drink a very little amount
cups.
of sake.
Doesn't mean you don't drink a lot of it. You just drink it in little shots. Yeah.
So first, this is sake Junmai Jingjo. This is from Kuroshi, Wakamaya, Japan. The glass is $44 and the bottle is $213.
Wow. Okay. I didn't like sake.
So another sake, this is a sparkling sake. This is the Charles Heistrick Champagne Brut Reserve from Champagne, France.
Okay.
So the glass is $65 and the bottle is $230,
Wow.
which is wild. All right, and up next for our last sake here is the sake Junmai de Janjo, and this is IWA, it says. The glass is $101, and so the bottle is $492, which is wild.
I think in my lifetime I would love to taste it. Mm-hmm. And I would love people not to tell me what it is when I taste it and then
guess.
find out that it's $400 a bottle, you know? I'm one of those people that may not know my wines. Like I said, I'm not a wine connoisseur. I don't drink that often, but I know what I like. If I taste it and I like it, it doesn't matter what it costs. It could be a $10 bottle of wine. If I taste it and I like it, well, then it pleases me. But just because it's $400, I may not like it.
All right, so also at Takumi Te, we have two wines here. I'm just going to do one right now, though. So one of the wines they have at the Kenzo Estate Rindo, it says in quotes, flagship red 2019 from Napa Valley in the U.S. The glass is $130 and the bottle is $610. And this is for a Napa Valley wine too. All right, our last two ones here. First, we're heading over back to Chef de France from Champagne Dom Perignon, a 2012 Dom Perignon bottle. For this bottle, you can only buy it by the bottle, is $765.
Wow. Now, I've had Dom Perignon. Mm-hmm. I've had, obviously not a $700 bottle. I've had one of the, lower bottles of Dom Perignon. Not a fan.
Not a fan.
No.
I've never had Dom Perignon.
It was a little bit sweeter than I like my champagne to be. So I was not a fan. Like I said, sometimes it doesn't matter the amount. It matters what your taste buds want.
All right, so now we're here. So we're back at Takumi Tai for our wine and champagne. So Takumi Tai again.
They have a lot of high-end.
Yeah, the most expensive food and drink and treat that you can purchase. That's on the Disney website, at least. From Epcot is here. It is the Kenzo Estate Murasaki Proprietary Red 2019. So again, the Kenzo Estate Murasaki Proprietary Red 2019 from Napa Valley in California. You can get it by the glass. The glass is $230 by the glass.
Wow.
And the bottle is $990.
Okay.
From Takumi Tai.
Do they anywhere on this website tell you how many people have ever ordered this bottle?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, I'd love to know that.
It's funny because, again, if you're going to Takumi Tai, you're already paying $230, $250 per person.
Right.
So if you get this bottle, it's like if you're thinking how much you could spend when you're at Takumi Tai.
By the time you get finished with this dinner, but it's the experience.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy though? So that was the most expensive treats, drinks, foods, everything in Epcot. We'll definitely do the other parks as well too. Again, according to the Disney website, because of course the festival booths, I can't get all the prices for those because those are changing.
Yeah, they change
and also those food and drink leave too. So after the festival, they may not come back next year, so you never know. But for staples, at least, yeah. So if you want to splash out on the Murasaki Proprietary Red, $990 for that bottle.
I have to say that I think drinking wise in Epcot, obviously beer has been drunk because with going to England, Daddy always stops and gets a glass of beer and stuff. And maybe in the Italian restaurants, we've had a glass of wine for dinner if we've had dinner and stuff. Other than that, I don't think I've drunk most of anything. We've gone to the bar, La Cava, and had margaritas. But we're buying normal drinks. We're not looking at the wine lists that have $900 bottles of
I know,
wine.
right? That's what I'm saying. It's just wild to think about.
It is wild that they have them. They have them on the menu because there is somebody who's going to want it.
There definitely is, because there are people. It's crazy when you think it's like there are people out there with money, right? It's like we're not one of them.
Well, the idea is that people make their choices on what they want to spend their money on.
Yeah, for sure. And some people are
with
really
money
into,
who want to. Supposedly,
really into
that's how do you say the restaurant, the Japanese restaurant?
Oh, the Takumi Tai.
Yes, that restaurant is an experience. When you're going in there, you're not just going to sit at a table with a whole bunch of Disney kids and they're going to serve you a $900 bottle of wine. You are going to that restaurant for the
full experience, the full Japanese experience, which I think is really great that Disney has those options because I think that's really fun, especially if this is your once in a lifetime vacation or something.
Right, it's the chance to do it. Who's not going to go over to Japan?
Yeah, or if this is your biggest interest and you're also just happen to be a big Disney fan, right? That you have this opportunity to do something like this.
Well, that's always been my thing about Disney is that, I'm never going to Africa. So going to the animal kingdom for me, like somebody who's never going to go to Japan can taste taste what's there, the food, the atmosphere, the service, what goes on when you go to a restaurant like that without having to get on a plane and go to Japan.
It's wild. Yeah, but this is really fun though. It's fun for me to do all this research and stuff too. So again, we're going to do the other parks one day for sure. But up next, we'll do just our Disney quote before we get to our Disney memory. So today's Disney quote is, what could be more important than a little something to eat?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know who said that?
No.
Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, why am I not surprised? Little
I know
Winnie
him with
Pooh.
a little hand in the honey pot.
He's got his little honey pot. He always loves his little eats.
I know. But all right, do you have a Disney memory for today's podcast?
Disney memory is probably the Japanese restaurant. We did go to the Japanese restaurant only once. Hard for us because...
Well, we've been there a few times because we went when we were kids and you said we didn't like it.
That was the hibachi. Right. I didn't count
but
that.
But we went as an adults a while ago and I thought it was pretty good.
It was very good. And that's what I remembered when you were talking about the restaurants. Because when you were talking about the Japanese restaurant, you were talking about the steak and the chicken and the whatever. It was very expensive, that meal. But what we ended up getting was tempura. I got tempura. I can't remember what you got, but I know that we got tempura. And it was very good. It was really a nice atmosphere. I thought the food was good. But it's not one of the restaurants I run to only because it is very, very limited in what I would order on that menu. But yes, that was my memory when you were talking, was the biggest memory was going to actually the Japanese restaurant.
Yeah, no, it's like I would love to try the hibachi again one day because I do like hibachi food. Because again, when we went to the hibachi, I was a child when we went. So as a child, I didn't eat that stuff. But,
you and Luke were not
but as
thrilled.
an adult, I do. Me and Ted went to hibachi like a week ago. Right?
Oh, okay.
So it's like, I was like, I do eat that now as,
we'll have
as
to
an
do
adult.
that again then.
So,
okay.
And I think also, again, just when you're a picky eater, it's hard sometimes when we're in these restaurants and stuff. But I thought the Japanese restaurant was really great. I don't think we're going to be going to Takumi Thai anytime soon, though.
No.
I don't think that's for us. Again, I don't eat meat or fish, so it'd be a little tricky for me.
Right.
But yeah, all right. Thanks everyone for listening to this week's episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed listening, make sure to give us a like or leave a comment down below if you're on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on social media, Almost Amanda X. Everything will be linked in the description below. And let us know which of these most expensive treats or eats would you want to get in Epcot? Which one is your favorite? Is there one that we left out that we didn't mention that maybe isn't on the Disney website, but you can get it in the park or something like that? We'd definitely love to know, so let us know. But until then,